There's a moment you never notice. A moment so small it hides in the space between your thoughts, but powerful enough to shape your entire day. It happens in the quiet instant when your phone lights up. Your eyes move before your mind does. Your breath tightens. Your attention narrows, and a silent urgency wakes up inside you. You think you're deciding to check your phone, but the decision happened milliseconds earlier, deep inside your brain. This isn't a story about weakness. It's not about discipline. It's not about self-control. It is a story about circuitry, about a nervous system built for a world of real threats and real silence. Now trapped inside a glowing rectangle designed to manipulate the mechanisms that once kept your ancestors alive, here at the Brain Code, we don't just explain why your brain does what it does. We show you how to change it. At the end of every episode, you'll get a clear, science-based method to rewrite the pattern behind today's topic. Stay with me. It all comes together at the end. And today, we're going to trace that invisible pull, the one you feel every morning, every night, every time you tell yourself just a second, all the way back to the part of your brain that never waits for your permission. But before we begin, hold one question quietly in the back of your mind. What if you were not addicted to your phone at all, but to the state your phone creates inside you? We'll come back to it, and when we do, everything will shift. It's late. 11:43 p.m. You tell yourself you need to sleep. You're exhausted. Your eyes are heavy. Your body is ready to rest. But your hand moves. Almost on its own. You unlock your phone. Just a quick check. A second. A glance. You think you're checking for something important, but your brain isn't searching for entertainment. It's searching for possibility, the oldest and most irresistible trigger of your nervous system. For millions of years, uncertainty meant survival. A sound in the bushes, a flicker of movement, a shift in the environment. Your ancestors lived and died based on how quickly their brains responded to the unknown. And your phone is the single most concentrated source of what might happen next humanity has ever created. You don't pick up your phone because you expect something amazing. You pick it up because your brain whispers, maybe. And maybe is dopamine's native language. Listen carefully now. This is where most explanations go wrong. Dopamine is not the chemical of pleasure. It's the chemical of prediction. Your phone creates endless prediction loops. Tiny moments where your brain expects something, receives almost something, receives nothing, receives something different, receives something too quickly or too slowly. These mismatches are called reward prediction errors, and they trigger dopamine far more powerfully than predictable rewards ever could. You're not addicted to the reward. You're addicted to the mismatch, to the unresolved tension, to anticipation without closure. Your brain isn't seeking pleasure. It's seeking resolution. And your phone never gives resolution. It gives a chain of almosts that pull you forward endlessly. Imagine walking down a long hallway filled with doors. Behind one door is something meaningful. Real connection. Real depth. Real reward. Behind the others are distractions. Fast. Shallow. Loud. Your brain doesn't know which door matters, so it opens all of them. Fast. Frantically. Door after door after door. This is scrolling, not exploration. Not curiosity, a survival mechanism hijacked by a device that gives you infinite doors and zero destinations. And the more your brain searches, the more it learns that searching itself, not finding, is the fastest way to escape discomfort. You're not scrolling because you're looking for something. You're scrolling because you're trying not to feel something. And here's the part that changes everything. Most people think phone addiction comes from too much stimulation, but the real driver is much simpler and far more powerful. Your phone is your fastest form of emotional escape. Not deep escape, not meaningful escape, instant escape. A distraction from boredom, a relief from uncertainty, a buffer against loneliness, a thought interrupter. Every time an uncomfortable emotion rises, even a small one, your brain issues a command. Interrupt this, and the fastest interruption it knows is your phone. 3 seconds of relief. 5 seconds. 15 seconds. Not enough to satisfy you, just enough to stop you from feeling what you were about to feel. This is where addiction becomes identity, because every escape teaches your brain that stillness is unsafe. Why does silence feel uncomfortable? Why does boredom feel like pressure? Why does a quiet moment feel wrong? Why does your hand reach for your phone even when you don't care what's on the screen? Because your brain has learned to fear stillness, not consciously. Biologically, stillness allows thoughts to surface. Thoughts like, I feel behind. I feel disconnected. I feel overwhelmed. I feel alone. Your phone doesn't create these feelings. It simply prevents them from reaching your awareness. And this is the real aha moment. You are not addicted to your phone. You are addicted to avoiding yourself. Your phone doesn't steal your attention. It steals the moment before thought begins. Now, imagine this. You're sitting in a cafe, a warm cup in your hands, soft noise around you. Nothing urgent, nothing wrong, just stillness. And yet your hand reaches for your phone, not because you're bored, but because quiet feels unfamiliar. Your brain has forgotten how to rest. But here's the part most people never hear. Your brain isn't broken. It's adaptable. The same circuits shaped by overstimulation can be reshaped by contrast, by space, by silence. Be present. And that version of you is not far away. It is waiting beneath the noise. What matters now is understanding this. Breaking phone addiction is not about removing your phone. It's about giving your brain something better to attach to. Your brain does not tolerate emptiness. When you remove a habit without replacing the reward beneath it, the brain always pulls you back. That's not weakness. That's biology. So the real question isn't, how do I stop using my phone? The real question is, what does my brain need instead? Your phone gives your brain three things it craves: novelty, predictability, and emotional relief. To reprogram the habit, you must recreate these signals in healthier forms. This is where neuroplasticity becomes practical. Your brain needs low-friction replacements, not discipline. Not detoxes, substitutes your nervous system can accept. That's why books and physical reading matter more than people think. Reading slows prediction. It restores closure. It retrains your dopamine system to tolerate delayed reward, the foundation of focus and calm. Even 10 minutes a day begins to recalibrate attention. Writing does the same. When you write, you pull activity out of reactive circuits and back into the prefrontal cortex. That's why journaling feels grounding. It's not emotional, it's neurological. Boredom is another powerful tool. Boredom isn't failure, it's a reset signal. 2 or 3 minutes without stimulation retrain your nervous system more effectively than forcing productivity. You're teaching your brain that silence is safe. Movement matters too. Simple movement. Walking without headphones, letting thoughts unfold. This activates the default mode network, the system responsible for insight and emotional processing. You don't break phone addiction by fighting impulses. You break it by changing the environment your brain responds to. Distance matters. Phone-free zones matter. Physical separation reduces impulsive behavior without effort. This is not discipline, it's nervous system design. Slowly, your tolerance for stillness grows, your sensitivity returns, and the urge to escape weakens, not because you forced it, but because your brain no longer needs it. This is reprogramming. Slow, gentle, consistent. If this video helped you understand your relationship with your phone more clearly, don't let it disappear into the scroll. Save this video. Not for motivation, but because real change happens when ideas are revisited, not consumed once and forgotten. Tell us in the comments, what behavior feels hardest for you to change right now? Phone use, focus, anxiety, overthinking, whatever it is. We read everything, and many of our next videos are built directly from what you share. If this kind of explanation helps you, where we don't just explain the problem, but show how to rewire it, subscribe and turn on notifications, and if you want to continue right now, watch one of the videos on screen next. This isn't about willpower. It's about understanding your brain and learning how to work with it, not against it.